Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never met me before, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And I think, right? I don't know, but I have this impression that I am on shutdown right now. I've had no inclination to do much at all except to, well, get things done around the house. And in doing that, I've been contemplating that too. Is that not something that I can add on to that movement forward, in getting these little projects done around the house? I'm feeling so much better. I've been feeling a little clustery, you know, coming home with things from that job that put the roof over my head, that every 2 weeks I would load up and I would bring home, and I would try to bring donations back to work equal to or more than. But sometimes in that busy, in that everyday, day to day chores routine that we think that we're on, when in all actuality, sometimes just from noticing how much I'm getting done in the past week, that basically I've been at the least shuffling things under the bed, stuffing things into the closet, right? Loading up every single crevice. And it has, right? It's not my nature to pound on myself in the things that I'm not getting done. It's not that I don't recognize that it's not getting done, but maybe I am not noticing that it's not getting done, because you got to make a mess to clean a mess. And in this moment, right, I said, you can't do your live show, Cindy, until you clear off your bed. I've been doing the spring cleaning in the closet today. It wasn't the plan, but I started on it and I am in on it. And I thought I was pretty much towards the end. I was in the cleanup stages of it. And I reached behind a bin, and there was this biggest bag. And I remembered instantly that it was this big bag that I had gotten last year for my spring trip, or fall trip in September, that I had bought it for that trip, and I had used it for all my clothes, right? And all my outfits for the trip. And when I came home and emptied it, did the laundry, put my clothes away, I thought, oh, this is the perfect bag to store my summer clothes in, you guys. I thought I was done. And I have a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot fat bag of summer clothes that I now have to go through. I thought my donation bag, I says, oh, that was pretty good, Cindy. You really looked for things to donate in the clothes aspect, eh? Well, the only reason I didn't find any clothes is because the actual bag of clothes hasn't been gone through. These were just scrappies that didn't make it into the storage for summer. So we'll go at it again tomorrow, or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do something else. That was spur of the moment. I can't imagine, right, what other project it has in store for me, because I'm discovering there is so much, right? It's a little bit embarrassing to say that I have been that shuffle under the bed, right? Stuff it into a corner, pile it up, right? And I gotta pull out the storage containers and tidy this up. But like I said, I'm feeling pretty good on that, right? I felt I was being shut down, but only shut down in, I don't know. Maybe it's just the feeling of being shut down because when I look at what I'm up to, still taking in the lessons, I'm still in my contemplations, I'm still, right? I'm still making that movement forward. And yet, on top of that, I washed all my winter clothes today, my snow pants and my jacket. I just washed my jacket twice because I just got it's a really nice jacket and I noticed I stained it with coffee or something. So I had to scrub it and rewash it again. But the second time it turned out really nice. But just doing these minuscule, big words for you tonight, minuscule little projects to make me feel good. We all know one of those things that makes Cindy feels good is that sense of accomplishment. And if I don't accomplish things in one aspect of my life, right, there are other aspects of my life that could do with a little bit of feeling like accomplishment. And I guess I'm in the spring cleaning this week and I feel good about that. I feel and I know I'll feel even better about that because just getting what I did done today made me feel good because I woke up this morning and I'm thinking, "Oh my goodness, what am I going to ground in? I have to stay grounded. There's a lot of stuff going on, not necessarily in my life personally, though it does impact me when it impacts the people that are in my life. And, I am a little bit possessive of my family and in my making sure that everybody is okay. That's the caregiver in me. That's the little drummer girl when you're looking to do service and you're looking to prove yourself and you're looking to bring to the table that you have to look at your qualities, you have to look at your experience, and you got to look at your circumstances and be realistic in what you can bring to the table, right? And I need a little bit of that caregiving myself. It's obvious that I need that caregiving, but at the same time, I need to feel that accomplishment. And so, in that caregiving for myself of getting the spring cleaning done, getting a little bit more organized, getting the donation bags ready, getting those few really deep cleaning projects that I've just come to discover really, really need to be done, right? Like just dusting. I cleaned my desk a couple of days ago, but obviously I just did a dust on the desk because I did a cleaning on the desk today. And yeah, I sure went through the wipes and cleaning the screen, all the crap off the screen and everything. And it just made me feel so good. Not just cleaning the screen, but the accumulation of all those little things, right? That little bit of accomplishment in each one of those things accumulated into a feeling of a big accomplishment in starting the spring cleaning. It had to get done. But do I want to do it when I'm so busy in something that might come across my path, an opportunity, an idea that I munch on? Or in this moment when I am in shutdown, right? Why not just pick away at these things? And it's working. You guys, I am a true believer. And if you've hung out with me for any length of time, you know I am a big believer in baby steps. Hello, Eugene. Thank you so much. I am doing great tonight. I hope you're doing amazing tonight too, right? It is in that sense of accomplishment that I do feel good. And maybe, yes, it is in that programming. It is in that proving my proving myself, right? And that goes way back and it goes deeper than what even I'm expressing here, or what even I even realized 10 seconds before I opened my mouth and said that, because the moment I was saying it was a moment of realization at the same time, because it's always what that is. And so sometimes, right, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But an old dog will know how to adapt and conquer, won't they? They will know how to adjust and stretch and elasticize in their life and make things work for them, right? And I earned that badge. I went through a lot of poop, but a lot of people go through their own thing, right? And each one of those things that we get through, right? No matter how we got through it, no matter what the residue, what the side effects, right? That we treat ourselves well, that we actually look out for those things that will make us feel good. And if I earned that badge, right, in feeling good when it comes to my sense of accomplishment, then so be it. I'm not going to go whoosh. And at the same time, it's not really whoosh, is it? Because it makes me feel good. Maybe not in the moment, but I am a whistle while you work kind of girl, right? And if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, if it adds something extra to my life, like being able to be in contemplation at the same time. My dad's favorite thing to do was be in meditation while he was doing dishes. My dad always did the dishes. He enjoyed doing the dishes, right? I didn't get it then. I didn't. I just thought my dad likes to do dishes. I don't like doing dishes. If my dad wants to do the dishes, have at her, dad, right? Or I would grab a towel. Oh my goodness, even in saying that, I'm remembering that. I would just grab a towel and stand beside him, and I would dry the dishes as he's washing the dishes, and we would have conversations. Or maybe sometimes we didn't even say anything because I knew my dad was just in his mind. My dad spent a lot of time in his mind. Didn't get it then. I get it. I get it now. I didn't get it then. But my dad did meditate in just washing dishes. It made him feel good. And that maybe that sense of accomplishment. It's just washing dishes, but it was something that he could go into his contemplation, that he could go into his mind, that he wouldn't have to have conversations with people, that he could just concentrate on just the one thing, and at the same time, right, be off somewheres else. I get it. I get it now. And I do it myself in my own sense, right? My dad wouldn't have been a spring cleaner. He was barely much of a fixer upper, in looking back, at my dad, that he wasn't big on renovations and stuff. In fact, my dad was a bit of an entrepreneur, and what he did is he buy houses and he wouldn't even fix them up. We would just live in them for 6 months until they got sold again at a profit. And that's how my dad made money. He just bought properties and sold properties. I don't know why it got into my head that my dad was didn't have good credit. right? Because we never discussed finances or anything like that. I just assumed that my dad was bad at finances too, being a compulsive gambler and never having any money, or walking in the door with the 20-pound bag of rice, or eating Kraft dinner for a month. Like, right? I just assumed that my dad was not good with money. I didn't understand gambling. I didn't understand the addiction in gambling. My dad made lots of money, right? But he just he just peed it away, right? In all truth. Wow, lots of revelations when we look back. But these are the things that I think about when I'm piddling around the house. But I'm not looking at those memories, but only in the lesson that I'm in. If I'm looking at guilt or shame, I'll go back into those experiences and those relationships, and I'll try to work them out, right? And it's not like it's going to fix anything in all truth. And lots of times these characters aren't even around anymore. It's only to better understand. And I'm so grateful for my understanding in evolutions, because right, I can give it to that. I can, right, that those souls are just, right, have not evolved in those human souls, right? It is in the partnership that we have with those other parts of us, and right, and it's just sometimes not evolved. And I'm getting to better understand some of these concepts that at one point, right, would have just been like, I was going to say Chinese, but I thought for a minute and I stopped. I said, would that be a racial comment to say? And I said, no, because I could have said Spanish or German or, right, any other language. But sometimes, right, in that wanting to be correct, right? And that's socially correct. We talk about being politically correct, but we don't want to overstep ourselves, and we'd want to take into consideration other people's boundaries along the way, right? That I want to be able to attract the same people like me, right? The same people with the same sense of values, right? We're all different. We're all unique. It takes all kinds to make the world. But we live in a crazy town world where there is all kinds. So even though we need all kinds, right? We want to make sure we have uh, values that are the same, so that we can at least hang out together, right? Like the 10 Commandments. We all follow the 10 Commandments, and I'm not religious that way, right? But I'm using that as an analogy, right? Because to be able to live that way is a set of communal rules that everybody agrees on, right? In the majority. And if it's not the majority, then then right, you can go and start your own tribe, your own network, your own group of friends, right? Or you can value the friendships that you make, and it's not conceding in any way, but for the sake of being able to belong and to be able to contribute and join in on the conversations, right? That we have to find people who believe the same way as we do, right? I have had my fill of experiences of rubbing up against people who right, because I want to belong, I'm adjusting, right? Or because they want to belong, they're adjusting, so that, right? And we should all be able to hang out with people who who will make us feel like we can be ourselves. And for somebody like me who is stepping into that role of learning to be able to show up, not just in my personal life, and I believe that's a big part of why I got into invited to this party is because, I've always tried to be myself. There was no point in being right, no matter what it was going to fly my way. So why not, right? What's that song say? You can't please everyone, so you might as well please yourself. And, you know, that's all fine and dandy. And I cheerleaded me that quote all throughout my entire life. But with some of that other programming and that people pleasing, right? It was a little bit of mix of both, right? And not just in that people pleasing and mix of both. Remember, my sense of feeling good comes out of that accomplishing, right? And these are all kinds of things that I get to learn about myself along the way, right? And in finding out these things about myself makes me feel a little bit more comfortable in my own skin, and less fragile when it comes to other people's opinions of how I feel, how I act, how I look, right? Or how I see things. And that's pretty amazing too. And I seem no worse for wear from it, though, right? I do feel different. Changes are there. But right, it is in feeling comfortable in being myself in this process. I look out in the world and there are lots of people making some movement for themselves, but they're not doing it comfortably because they're being hyper vigilant, and they're not being hyper vigilant in their environment. They're being hyper vigilant in their double checking and triple checking everything they say, everything they do to make sure it represents the person that they want to be, right? Rather than the person that they are, right? And yeah, I guess I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it at that because truly, right? We're not even close to figuring out who we are. We're not even close. Not even in this lifetime. Not even in lifetimes, right? Right? Cindy's not going to be here. But I trust that there will be other parts of me that will be, right? Okay, you guys. Couple of minutes. Let's pull a card. Just a couple of minutes. First perspective. We'll just chew on it for a couple of minutes. And I've cleaned up the mess on the bed. I'm just going to enjoy my cup of coffee and relax for an hour or so before not even an hour before I call it a day. Yeah, and it was a good one, you guys. I feel pretty good. I'll put my head on the pillow tonight and feel good at what I accomplished. Okay, you guys. Here's the word top card in the split. Top card. Top card. Here we go. Oh my goodness. This is a card that I've only pulled out in my 54 words. When I was choosing my 54 words, I got this word for the first time, and we covered the topic. And you know what? Let's go into the book because you know what? I didn't even write it. I wrote the word down. I didn't even come back to it, you guys. Okay? I don't even know what number vision was. There it is. It's number 4. Let's go in here and see what it says about number 4. Vision is a potential that has not yet been realized. First thing that comes to my mind, you guys. Oh my goodness. And reading what I had written here, let's read it again. Vision is a potential that has not yet been realized. And if I'm going to do this honestly and genuinely, um, in 2000 and 2019, I was struggling with my YouTube channel. It was diving. I was doing urban exploration. I had explored abandoned farms, abandoned houses, going back to way back to the Hudson Bay fur traders. It was so much fun. I loved going out and hanging out in the forest, hanging out by myself. I had just gotten my first brand new car. I was out on the road. The moment I got that vehicle, I was gone. And at the time, I didn't really recognize that I was making some movement, but obviously looking back now, stuff was going on underneath the surface, and my life started falling apart, and I was struggling with my finances. I was struggling with my brand. And, you know, my brand was the only thing in my entire life that was just like totally mine, right? Like, right? It was all me. I didn't know any other YouTubers. I didn't know anybody doing YouTube. I've been doing YouTube since 2014. 2013 was my first video on New Year's Eve on 2013. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, hanging out here. And, I've become quite comfortable here. But the content has changed, right? And the change started in the learning, in the process of wanting to be a YouTuber and learning about analytics and learning about business and making money and the possibility of turning my brand into a business. But I had no idea how long could I do urban exploration. I was already in my late 50s. How long could I do that? And so in doing that, I was searching out help, and I happened on to a gentleman named Evan Carmichael, and he was an entrepreneur and he helped entrepreneurs. I wanted to start my own business. I wanted my YouTube channel to be my brand, right? To be the way that put the roof over my head. You hear me say all the time, right? I'm so appreciative of the job that puts the roof over my head in that little thrift store that I worked in. It's not my dream job, but I love my job and I learned lots in that job. But I had no idea how I was going to move from that job that was putting my roof over my head to, right, turning my brand into a business. And the first thing, in looking at this word vision, I had this vision for my future. I had a vision for setting myself up for retirement, right? That was my vision, to set myself up for retirement, to set my brand up in a way that it might be valuable, that it might be able to be my ticket out so that I could go off and do what I really wanted to do. Here it comes, you guys. I wanted to go work for Evan Carmichael. I am a shiner. I wanted to shine on somebody that deserved to be shined on. Oh my goodness, who would ever known I was going to have this conversation tonight? I've not had this conversation here on my brand before, right? But I did want to be an employee. And so I just kept going and I kept learning and I kept recognizing, right, that as an empath, as a highly sensitive, I wouldn't make a very good employee, though I had been, but it was only forced out of the people pleasing now. Oh my goodness, if I tie it up like I tied it up with my spring cleaning today, and that feeling of accomplishment that I get from accomplishing, right? Then what's wrong with being an employee? You still have to accomplish when you're an employee. Not everybody is meant to be a leader, just like not everybody is supposed to be an authority figure. And that's a truth too, right? I can make the most amazing leader in the whole world. I don't know, right? There's a lot stacked up against it. But in my experience and in that acquisition of experience over the course of the decades, right? I can be good at being a leader. And because of that multitude of experiences, right, in being an employee in so many different jobs, because I just looked and took on jobs because I thought that was all I was capable of, right? That I wasn't capable of being a leader in my own life. And if I choose to be an employer as that leader that I am, then, right, that's what I would go after. So when we look at vision, that was a vision. That was in this movement that I was making for myself. That was a vision that I had. Now, have I strayed past that vision? No, that's a beautiful vision. That's a dream job, right? To be able to work for somebody that you admire, that you appreciate, that has set values that are similar to yours, right? But it takes all kinds to make the world, right? So, how come that couldn't have been enough? It wasn't. And in the lessons and in the movement and in the baby steps, right, I come to realize that I was a leader. And as much as I would love to be an employee, right? And as much as I understand that I'm a shiner, that whatever I shine on, it's going to grow. It's going to be great. It always has been. But that's always in the people pleasing, and that's always been for somebody else. And in this moment, I need to shine on me. Oh my goodness, all the realizations and just having this conversation tonight. And that's a truth, right? So I'm going to recognize that because in dealing with so much going on in my hemisphere, like I said, not necessarily crazy town just with me, but in my hemisphere and in with the people that I care about and the characters that I care about, right? That I want everybody to be able to feel that sense of accomplishment and to feel that sense that everything is going to be okay, that everything is okay, right? And yeah, I'm adapting, I'm conquering, I'm riding the waves, and I'm getting stuff done, and I'm feeling pretty good in the moment. And yeah, I shared a vision, you guys. I shared a vision. And, but in the moment, I'm shining on myself right there. That's why they call it shadow work, right? That's where you go in and you do that work for yourself, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that you're wiping the slate clean and you're starting over with no issues, but right, maybe better understanding, better solutions in dealing with that stuff, to be able to make a little bit of movement that gets you possibly a little bit closer to the visions, right? That we all have for ourselves. And the visions are only the dreams, right? But if you hang out with me, right, they got to be goals too. They have to be goals, right? That's where our sense of accomplishment lays. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. Thank you, Eugene, for hanging out with me tonight. For those of you who hang out later on, whether you're coming home from work and putting your feet up, right? Or whether you're waking up in the morning and I'm the first thing you see when you turn on your computer, right? I hope you're having an amazing day. And here's a little bit extra. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.